Another meeting he sent me to, which was one of the Women's Day meeting, and they asked that questions, what are the challenges that you as women face? And I put up my hand, and she said, no, not you. You already have your PhD. And I was stunned. There's nothing wrong with traveling. I think traveling is very important. I think it helped me a lot, but I knew that from day one, I'm coming back home. Because you will still have people that will say no to you. You will still have people that you have a vision and they may not believe in it or try to undermine it or not be, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a focus and you know what you're trying to achieve, everything else is noise. I'm a postdoctoral scientist. I will always be a postdoctoral scientist. I love technology. And I think technology is the way to solve problems. I mentor a lot of young women. And I'm mentoring them professionally, but I also have to mentor them personally. Because everybody goes through stuff. And if you're going through issues, you cannot attain what you want to attain professionally. And I cannot tell you what these girls are going through.
Dr. Jorjoh Ndure Tambedou is our guest today, and of course, it's not a surprise. It's someone that everybody, especially young women in this country, not only women, every young person in this country knows, and knows specifically what she's doing, and we are really humbled. There's an article that you published. This was in 2021, and clearly it stated that you attended a women group meeting, and in that meeting, when we had the moderator ask a question and says, what are some of the challenges that women face in their community? And of course, when you raise your hand and in your own words, you stated that, it made me realize that because some of us really discuss how we got somewhere, a rosy picture is painted and the hurdles are never mentioned. Having a PhD is only the beginning. I presume because you had a PhD and the moderator thought that you had no challenges. Could you take us through that path, if you may?
Yes. I'd firstly want to acknowledge you and your presence and say thank you for coming here, but also talk about who I am. I'm the current CEO of Insys Global, and Insys Global is one of the leading technology companies in the Gambia. I'm also a co-founder of Afrijula and one of the advisors for Gambia Women in STEM initiative. I do some other social impact work. I'm a member of different committees, the chair for the Sector Skills Council for ICT, a member of the TVET committee, and also the president for the Gambia Rise Women Network. I developed the curriculum for UNESCO, for the ministry, as a UNESCO consultant for digital transformation of the TVET sector in the Gambia. And what do we do here at Insys? We provide consultancy services where we develop technologies that fit our context and solve real life challenges. I am a scientist and I will always be a scientist. I'm a postdoctoral scientist. I'm a tech enthusiast. And I believe that with technology, we can solve problems that we have as a people. But over the years, we've also branched into program and project implementation because we realized that we needed to lift our communities. We needed to implement programs and build the ecosystem to get our communities to leapfrog into the digital era. So that's what we do. So when I first started this journey, so I joined Insys in 2019 as a consultant. At the time, I was waiting to start my fellowship. I had different opportunities. And I remember coming in and the first thing I said to the founder, who's Sidi Bensouda, was, all I want to do is make an impact. That's all I want to do. That's what drives me. And he said, sure. And the first meeting I went to was at an SSC meeting at NACA. And after a few months, they identified me to be their chair. And then I went to another meeting he sent me to, which was one of the Women's Day meeting. And they asked that questions, what are the challenges that you as women face? And I put up my hand and she said, no, not you. You already have your PhD. And I was stunned. But it's true. I think people, define success in different ways, but a lot of the women that are identified as being successful, or they always, but not only women, but just people generally, they paint this picture, rosy picture, and never talk about their challenges. And what happens is that younger people that are trying to make it as they would say, whenever they now face a hurdle, they give up because they think they cannot do it. So then I had the conversation after that with someone else who was at that meeting. I was like, I am shocked, but also it makes me realize that a lot of people think, especially people in those leadership positions, think that they need to help people at just the grassroots level, someone who's just starting off. But I think that it's a journey, and everybody's at a different stage in their life, and everybody goes through challenges at different stages in their lives. You even get it still. As a company, people see that we're growing. Mashallah, we've gained a lot of traction and a lot of recognition on the continent. Sometimes when opportunities come, they will say that, but we are contributing a lot to the Gambian economy. We're contributing a lot in training and developing young people. They don't see that. They don't see the benefits of that. They're not linking what their objective is to what we are doing. I've never, like the last time I said it, I've never heard of anyone from INSIS who has ever gone through the back way. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of from our interns to our staff thinking of taking the back route, because they're empowered, because they're educated, they're knowledgeable, they believe in themselves. And so I think the public sector needs to look at the private sector as partners, but also look at the bigger picture of the work that we do and how it actually impacts us, our people, our economy. And I think that is key. And as we become leaders and we're in positions where we can drive change, I think we need to do that. For instance, here we have a crash I mentioned, and women that do have babies can still come to work. When we have trainings, the women bring in their children and they can use the crash. Now, sometimes, I was saying it the last time, we said it as a joke, but sometimes people, when they need time out for any reason, it's like a well-being spot. They can also go there. But I was able to do that because I was in the leadership position and I saw that there was a particular challenge. Well, why don't we do this? When we can lift, and it's not only women, but when we can lift our own staff, our own people, when we can support them, we should do that. When we have opportunities, rather than trying to bring someone from abroad, we have projects. We had one of our most successful projects is the Afrijula project, which we were funded and supported by the UNCDF. They didn't consider us just because we were Gambians, or let's just give you chicken change to implement this project. It was advertised globally. They knew we were competent. They chose us. And it was a very successful partnership. And we're still partners with them. And we're grateful to them for that. I would like other agencies to also emulate that, but also our governments as well, so that we can drive change. But because of those opportunities that we had, we could have said, okay, let's just bring in someone from abroad to do this work. It would take less period of time to do. But we have our own training schemes. We identify people from within, or young Gambians that we can train, that we can bring in as interns. We understand that it's going to take them a while to be able to contribute to the level that they need to contribute, but it is our responsibility.
What were some of the hurdles you can pinpoint that you can share to inspire another young person that looks up to you?
Yeah, so I would say to the young people, I think a lot of the times they just think that they've graduated and they should just start earning money, or they are looking at opportunities by just looking at the money or traveling. That's what they're looking at, rather than looking at growing professionally and personally in so many ways. I was just looking at my documents a few days ago, and I took out this big folder. Yeah. That was my training folder. And all of those papers were certificates. So trainings that I did over the years. I mean, since I graduated from university, I've been working and studying. And so I think it takes, and it will be the same for so many other people. Sidi has been working as an engineer, a business owner, an entrepreneur for over 20 years. That's the founder, Sidi Ahmad Bensouda. So a lot of us, we really worked hard, but it took a long time to, and I still think that I have so much that I want to achieve, but I think a lot of young people want to get there very quickly. And there is no shortcut for it. That's what I would say to them. And when they're in one position, they see another opportunity quickly because they get paid slightly more. Let me move on to the next. Well, you're being unfair to yourself, because if you had stayed to gain the expertise to a level that you need to get to, that would have been better for you. And then leave, that would have been better for you. Or they all want to travel. On the huddle side, I think everybody has a battle that they're fighting with. I wouldn't say that mine is the same as someone else's, but everybody has a battle. But also, some young people will come up with excuses why they cannot achieve something or do something. I want to use this analogy. And let's say, for instance, there was a father, head of a family, and he sees he's just maybe had a fracture. And he sees his family on a boat, and, you know, they're almost, maybe the boat's about to capsize or they can drown or whatever. Do you think at that point the father's going to think about that fracture that he has? No. So he's going to ignore it and push to try to save his family. So if you have a goal, no matter what that challenge is, you have to push. We all have challenges. Have a good support network to support you, but don't let that define you. For me, if I decide not to do anything, it's because it's on my own terms. I decided, hey, I'm not doing this. But it's not because of a hurdle that I have. I really want to share that. And when it comes to traveling, another analogy I would like to use so that it's lasting in the young people's minds is, let's say we all live in different houses. If I didn't clean my house up and came to your house and cleaned your house up or contribute to making your house beautiful, ban jering la am. Even if I decide to move into your house, I need to make sure that I'm also doing something to make my house to get to how your house is. So why aren't we doing that? Why don't we have that mindset? I think that's very important. I think a lot of people will say, but you traveled. Yes, I traveled, but I came back home. My grandmother, who is one of my role models, Sister Jorjoh, she was one of the first Muslim women to continue secondary education in the Gambia. She traveled to the UK to study nursing in the 1950s. With, you've heard of Dr. Pama with her mom.
Right.
They went together. They came back home. They opened hospitals. They opened clinics. They could have stayed there. So there's nothing wrong with traveling. I think traveling is very important. I think it helped me a lot. But I knew that from day one, I'm coming back home. So being able to value yourself, value where you are, and knowing that no matter what you do, if you do it where you're from, it's much better.
That's very
travel, but also if you can contribute, even if you're not here, however you can contribute to the Gambia, I think do that. I think it's really important. So that's what I would say to them.
Beautiful.
To change their mind, to help change their mindset.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for that. You've mentioned Sidi Bensouda helping you. So what do you think changed in our youth today? Because having you say that, of course, most young people don't want to put in the work. So what do you think probably? Is it because we don't have a support system? We don't have someone that pushes us?
I think
is that the case, maybe?
I think definitely your background has a lot to play, because it starts from my father telling me, showing me that I can do anything I wanted to do, but also encouraging me to ask questions and be curious, but also challenging us. He told us, you all have to come back home, and gave us a one-way ticket back home. So there's that. So having, I think, that upbringing, but I think the upbringing made me a Pan-African, but also I think education really helps. I think the more you're educated, the more you believe in yourself and your competence and what you can do and achieve. The late Dr. Jorjoh said, the last meeting we were in, we were reviewing and validating a policy for the open and distance learning policy for the education sector. And he said there are different levels of education. You can use education to make yourself better, right? And have a personal gain, but using your education to now contribute and change society, that's another level. And I think the more you're educated, then the more you're starting to think that way. But I also think when you do a PhD, you start asking a lot of questions. You have to troubleshoot. That's what we say. You have to troubleshoot because, oh, okay, I'm in trouble now. I'm not gonna get stuck and stop. I have to find a solution. So I guess when you're in a difficult environment, because they call it difficult, the Gambia, right? I think nothing will faze you because you're like, shoot, I did this, I can do that. And then you just keep on pushing and pushing and pushing as well. But I also for me, my husband is a good support system, allowing me to do a lot of the things that I do. I remember when I first became CEO and there was a particular meeting in Senegal and I was sitting down with Manick, who's our CTO, and I said, Manick, I have to go to Senegal in a day or two. I tago, Madi. And then Manick was like, bobu day ground na. Then you were a hard CEO, dafa wara tago, why digala legi. Then plan nagaga tago with deme. And I still have to do that. I'm still a wife, I'm still a mother. But he allowed, and when I told him, it was very sudden, but he was like, he asked me a question, would going to Senegal, would it help you in any way? And I said, yes, it would help me, it will help the company. And I explained, he said, then I don't have an issue with that. So I think that really helps me as well. So my father, my husband, my sisters, who are very driven and very hardworking. I say that, I mean, I look at my sisters, they're just like some of the most hardworking women that I ever know. And, they could have said, okay, I don't need to, right? Maybe, my dad can give me this, or my husband can give me that, or, I can use the way I look or whatever to achieve or get what I need.
Obviously.
No, from a very young age, they all went, to university. They had what they needed to achieve. They came back, they're working, they're married. So I think seeing other women like that, my staff, every day they come in here. I know everybody goes through stuff. We all go through stuff. But despite that, they come in every day and they give it their all, smiling whilst doing it. The tribe of women that I'm part of, the Women in STEM Initiative, brilliant women. We've got the president, Kodu Jengay. We've got Nima Jobate, Dada Jabi, so many brilliant, Kani, Job, so many brilliant women there that really inspire me. Everyday women out there in the street. I go to the markets usually Friday mornings, no matter how early I am. I see these women working hard and still having fun whilst doing it, right? I don't know what time they leave their houses to just go to the market. So just as Gambian people, and I think Guritam nyonyu de dolel in a lot of ways, right? CD daf ma dolel, Manick daf ma dolel, my staff dañ ma dolel, men and women. We all support each other and encourage each other, and I think that really helps. So having people that support you and also empower you, being around people like that really helps. You will still have people that will say no to you. You will still have people that you have a vision and they may not believe in it or try to undermine it or not be, it doesn't matter. As long as you have a focus and you know what you're trying to achieve, everything else is noise. I think also knowing what drives you. For me, I think two things are the main. I have this gratitude to Allah. There are two things. Gratitude to two things. The gratitude to Allah and gratitude to the people that I don't want to also disappoint. To Allah, that from a very young age, I think almost everything that I've ever prayed for or asked Him for, He gives me. Alhamdulillah, mashallah, laf bush, as we say. But I feel like the Madi Russo is like, and even when He doesn't give it to me, I say Alhamdulillah, or even when I'm battling something that other people would see it as a challenge or a famity or yara, but I have that gratitude ne defal namali. So man, what can I do apart from try to also use either my knowledge, my expertise, my position, my privilege, or whatever it is to now also help other people or support other people. Secondly, you have gratitude to people that believe in you, be it your mentors, be it your family, be it your board of directors, be it our founder, be it the staff, be it my network of women.
Beautiful.
And friends, and we still have a classmate group and all of them. So I don't want to disappoint them. My family, I don't want to disappoint them. So because of them, I'm going to push.
Now, you've mentioned you are a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
And from the little research we've done, it means you studied, your field of work has to do with science.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're in the tech world.
Yes.
What changed?
I'm a postdoctoral scientist. I will always be a postdoctoral scientist. I love technology. And I think technology is the way to solve problems. I think over the years, people have just seen Lila Janga, then not looking at the skills that you get from it. For me, it hasn't even been, everyone asks, how was the transition? But I'm like, it's not those same skills I had there is what I'm using here. But I'm solving real life problems. I was solving problems before, but I felt I wanted to see a tangible impact, but also do that in Gambia and drive change. And in my passion, the two main ones are in education and health. How can I use technology to change that, but also empower other people, be it in the financial or entrepreneurship sector? How can I empower the youth and women? And I think that with technology, I can do that. The first project that I worked on when I came in was the Education Management Information System. And I designed the data analytics dashboard. I designed that. So when I was doing my PhD, I have background in statistics, data analytics. And I saw how just using that, it didn't take me long to do, but just using that and I was heading the PE and policy department, how having that there, the engineers were able to now bring that come to life. And I was just like, wow, this is like magic. It's the closest thing to magic.
Wow.
I think engineering, coding, program is the closest thing. You have an idea and they make it come to life.
Beautiful.
I mean, how brilliant is that?
Yeah.
And how has technology changed our lives, all of us? If I think about it, I mean, when I was in Form 5, that's when one of my friends had a mobile phone. And we all used to carry the mobile phone around. Then I traveled and we all had mobile phones, but they were so much different. Even my oldest child is 14, and then I have this long gap of 9 years studying and working. And then I have 2 young ones. I mean, as young babies, they can even use the screen. They know it's a touch screen. That's what they used to. They were born in that era. But we've seen the changes and we've seen how lives have changed. And it's changing so fast. When you travel, I was in UK not long ago, you had robots cleaning. You know, I went to GTEx and it was just amazing. Even doing surgery, they have robots doing it.
Wow.
So we have a long way to go and we need to now join that digital revolution. It's coming here, whether we like it or not.
Oh, yes,
so we need to join it. And I think that with technology, we can really drive change at a fast pace as well. In the past, I would have said dying and leaving very young children. I was ill about a year ago. I think the first article that I started writing on LinkedIn, because I was very ill, and it kind of coincided with when the results came out for the WASI. Yeah. And I was shocked at how Gambians were making fun of our graduates. I was very shocked. It was not funny to me. I felt that we let them down. And instead of seeing how we can support them, everybody was making fun of them. And I could not talk much, and I was lying down and I wrote because I could write. And at that point, I was waiting to travel out for treatment. And for a second, I thought, was it a good idea staying behind? And then I said, yes, it's a good idea. Because yala funeka la neka, right? But also now this makes me even want to push harder. So that the time that I have spent here, it's not going to go wasted. So I pushed, and no matter what is going on, people will see me. I will push. I will use my voice. And I think Professor Kora was one of the. He said something to me when I said I wanted to transition. People had different opinions, and a lot of people said, "No, but you are a scientist. When we think of immunology, we think of you." Someone in the development sector, when I said I wanted to do something like social impact projects, I want to work in development and do something humanitarian, and the guy said, "No, but you're a scientist." I said, "I am human before. I am human before being a scientist, right?" And just like in immunology, when you think of immunology, you think of me. I did not really study immunology before, like in detail. I did biomedical sciences. But when I decided that I wanted to work in immunology and do a PhD in immunology, hey, I took the textbook and I taught myself everything I needed to know about immunology. So I said, and Professor Kora said, okay, no, however you want to. So to my friend, Dr. Hadifai said, however you want to use your skills, it's up to you. Professor Kora gave me a story of one of his friends who's a doctor, medical doctor, came back from Nigeria, went to Nigeria, and then was in a bank, worked in finance. The first day, he didn't understand what they were saying. He went home, came back, and he knew more about what they were saying than they did. So I think it depends on the effort that you put in. And he also said something. He said, when you go in a room, people look up and they listen to you. So they listen to what I say. So if you can influence, if someone can say me too because of something that you said or did, I think we need to use it in a positive way. The children of nowadays on TikTok, there are so many things that they see that is so negative. Why can't we be the other example that they need, positive example that they need? So I like kind of like Mbala soul music, like Amadeus. I don't know if you know of Amadeus. Yes. So I like those sort of music.
Okay.
Like Seydina, Amadeus. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I don't read novels though.
Okay.
I read like real life stories. Okay. I like reading things that would kind of add to my knowledge. I do a lot of reading on current events, emerging technologies, different strategies or policies. So that's the type of reading that I do.
Beautiful.
I like to watch the Marodi shows.
Okay. Beautiful.
So I watch TV during weekends and stuff. When I do have the remote, because I have 2 young children, and sometimes my son, who's 5, will come and say, "Mommy, I told you if you want to watch, use your phone." And I have to return the remote. Wow. So currently I'm watching Babel. It's a Marodi show.
Okay.
So all the Marodi shows, well, the series, I watch them.
Beautiful. What do you wish?
I guess I'm always busy looking at providing a service rather than a wish. But what I want for the company, for our products, for our staff, I mean, for instance, we are not, if you look at the name Insys Global, we're not looking to stay in Gambia. We're looking to be a global innovator that's solving issues. I wish that Africans can see Africa as it is and believe that we Africans are capable and more than competent to get Africa to where it needs to get to. I want to see Afrijula in being used in other countries in Africa. I want to see our solutions like Jangle going global. I want to see my children, my family, my husband, my father, my sisters. I want to see everybody just happy and content. And I think we can have that here. I don't know. I know that I'm here right now and I'm just gonna give it my all to achieve what I need to achieve with the support of the people that I have around me. They believe in the vision that we have. I'm gonna push for that. I love Africa. But Senegal is, I can decide to enjoy the convenience, go to the cinema, go to the cafes, but also if I wanted to go to just the beach and have like a gin, like grilled fish, I can also do that. I can visit my family, you know. So I like having those two worlds. But I love Gambia. I think we can develop Gambia, but let's do it in an organic way, one that fits us as Gambians. Like my husband and I went to the beach not long ago and I was just like, Gambia is just beautiful. He was like, yes, this is beautiful. So I'm in Harless, right? But let's make it comfortable in a way that people just have the basic stuff. They just need the basic stuff. Maybe I can share this story. My daughter Ramu was my oldest daughter. At the time, she was only 6 or 7. So they had a school trip. They went to one of the UN agencies. And she said that she asked a question and she asked, why is there poverty? And I think the person they spoke to talked about how, because some people, they don't have, maybe they've lost their parents, they're not educated. I said, okay, when she came back home, I said, well, that's one possibly. But I think generally, it's because we do not have that social system, right? If you go to other countries, okay, they have free education, free health care, they can provide allowances for meals or whatever to keep them going, free rent or accommodation. We don't have that. But what can we have? Because if you look at globally, most of the money globally is owned by a very small percentage of people. But also in the Gambia, anywhere you go, if what I told her is basically for her to understand, because we don't share. If those that had the opportunity or have the funds or are holding all of that wealth were willing to share it, it trickles down and there will be no poverty. Why we go, we work, whatever we earn, they're not thinking of sharing it key problem or small problem. They think it's enough. They don't think it's necessary to help or try and lift other people. Islam So I think if we were just all sharing, then poverty, the world would be a better place. Just sharing, for the simple as that. I think I'm quite flexible in a way. I cannot define that this is my leadership style. I think it depends on what the situation asks for. If the situation asks that I have to kind of be direct and be authoritative at that or make an executive decision, I will. Most days, it's consultative. We are engaging each other. I will look at their feedback and then decide and take the executive decisions there and decide what we're going to do. But it depends on the situation where I will have to say, no, hey, you know what? Now, this is what we have to do, because I am looking at the bigger picture and I have a bird's eye view of how everybody's work now relates to each other and impacts.
Beautiful.
No, thank you for having me. I like talking to the youth because I believe they give me hope. We had the annual Women in STEM conference and the most amazing panel discussions were by school children, schoolgirls. It was just so empowering and very raw and unfiltered in a way that they were just honest and talking from the heart. And it made me wonder, at what stage now do you start to not be real and say things as they are? Do we get older and then maybe become less passionate, or do we get older and start to put a guard on some of the things that we want to express? I mean, one of the most shared videos we have is of Honorable Tuma Njai.
Yeah.
She spoke her mind. You have so many. We had Yakumba. So many women representing us at the parliament that speak their minds. And at times, as a woman, you speak your mind, you're seen as body affair, or the is a problem, or his person is a rebel or is aggressive. However, if it's a man, it's seen differently. I would like to say to the young girls to keep pushing. I would like to say to the young boys to keep pushing. I do some work with the boys. My husband has a football academy. And the boys are just the funniest. Their sense of humor is just really funny. I mean, it's amazing. And I just enjoy my time with the young boys as well. You go to every street in Gambia, people are just playing football. So they love the game. When we had a lot of deaths over in the last month, the people that went through the back way, most of them, when I saw their pictures, they were football players. So how can we use sports or football, something that they like, to also get the boys, to change their mindset, to build their capacity? Because I don't think they don't want to be here. I think they just don't have the opportunities, or they're not seeing the right role models, or they despair. So how can we support the young ones, both young girls and young boys? But also, let's be each other's keepers. The men, look at us as like yesterday, Dumabai. Yesterday I was in a car and then I saw this guy, he's on a motorbike, and then the woman was driving, and then he just went in front of the woman and stopped so that the woman can hit him, and then came banging, because I think probably they had an altercation on the road, and banging on the woman's window and shouting. And I put my head out of the window and said, Ninga again. Like, this is how you treat a woman. Because I feel like we are very different in a lot of ways. So hole jigen be asaraka abu jigen, or sa jabar, or sa yaay, dinga bayi hell lu bari. We don't have the same strength. So how can you just try to intimidate a woman like that? There was another point where I parked somewhere and someone said I wasn't meant to park there. I said, oh, sorry, I didn't know that. He said, because then I cannot move my car out. This is where it's not a parking, we use this to move our cars out and do a U-turn. I'm like, oh, sorry, I didn't know that. And then he said, if you were a guy, you would see. And I came out of my car and I said, imagine I'm a guy. I want you to now do to me what you would do to a guy. And I was just very calm. And I just said, do that. I want to see that. So we experience this on a daily basis as women. And I mentor a lot of young women. And I'm mentoring them professionally, but I also have to mentor them personally. Because everybody goes through stuff. And if you're going through issues, you cannot attain what you want to attain professionally. And I cannot tell you what these girls are going through. So we need to be each other's keepers. We need to support each other's. Gori dole len jigeni. Jigeni dole len gori. I know sometimes like that question, or why we have more women, or what is this about gender empowerment? Why are we talking about? It is a true issue. We live it daily. We see it daily. Mm-hmm. It's the reality. Gender-based violence is a reality in our country, in Gambia. Buñ ko nuba, buñ ko de wax. I walk around the streets this tourist season. I see old men with very young children. Boys, young boys and young girls. If I am seeing that openly, what are our authorities doing? Are they going out in the streets and looking for these and starting to question the children? asking them what are they doing with them. Sometimes you see old men holding girls, young girls, going into apartments, young girls. There's so much that is happening in our country. Are they doing anything about it? Because if we're seeing it openly, it is a problem. But they will try to tell you that it's not a problem. Or if I speak to you somehow, or if I do something to you, it's not because you're a woman. It is. Because you go to once a kanam doko defli or doko wahli.
Yes, so let's be each other's keeper. A message for everybody. This was Generation Next. Please like, subscribe, and share. Until we come your way again. It's a cheers from the entire team. My dear Betty and Mohammed, and of course, our beautiful Excellency. What word should I use?
Opener.
Our beautiful, I stopped
Jorjoh.
there. I just stopped there.
Jorjoh. I'm a sister to many.
Yeah.
I'm a friend to many. I'm a mentor to many.
Oh,
I'm a colleague to many. Jorjoh. Sis, Dr. Jorjoh.
She's just been humble.
Thank
you.
Thank you for having me, Sila.